About me, that is my beautiful wife, Brittany. We have actually been together for 10 years. So we were technically high school sweethearts that didn't go to the same high school. We met as servers at Bob Evans. And so we've been together since she was 16 and I was 17. And so it's going on 11 years now, actually. But we've been married for 7 years in August. So right now it's July of 2019 for anybody that's watching this later. And we'll be married for 7 years in August. So we got married young. And really one of the things that drew us to each other in the first place is that we worked together really well. You know, it wasn't something we actively thought about back in high school, but we did work together really well and got along that way. And so that was something that we've always been able to draw upon. And so after college, we each got our own jobs. And she was in logistics and also did some serving as well on the side. And I actually sold commercial insurance. And selling commercial insurance essentially moved me and her to Minnesota for about a year. And then we went from St. Louis, which is where we're originally from, to Minnesota for a year. And then we went to near Kansas City for about 2 years. And then one thing that we realized is we hated that we had to leave our families for a job. And we decided that we wanted a little bit more freedom. So while we were out in Kansas City, it was about time that we wanted to start working on things that could bring me back home so that in the future, whenever we decide to have children, I would be able to be around for that and just spend more time with each other because we worked a lot and separately, and we got married to be together. So we decided to leave that job and move back to St. Louis, still selling insurance and trying to grow our Amazon business at that point. And about a year and a half later, we decided to quit my job. So that's kind of the prior jobs and the trajectory of where we came from. Like I said, we've always worked together well. And then why Amazon? It allows us the freedom to really do whatever we want in our life. So obviously there's a lot of hard work involved in growing any business, but Amazon allows us to work from anywhere. It allows us to systemize and scale this business. And especially with retail arbitrage and online arbitrage, you get a lot of opportunities out there to scale that many people don't really think about. And so that's kind of why we decided to do this course after Ryan presented it to me. I actually did a very similar, almost exactly the same presentation at a conference, just going over a high-level overview of how we got to $100,000 per month. And he thought it would be an excellent idea for a course. And I'm excited to bring this all to you and kind of go over our entire layout for what this course is going to look like. So let's talk numbers really quick. There's a lot of numbers on here, but we started in December 2015. And a year and a half later, in June 2017, we were $8,587. So for that first year and a half of our Amazon business, it was all part-time, but we were also doing just clearance shopping and deals shopping and just running around everywhere looking for products that we could flip. And so, that's a fun model. It was for us. It was fun to do, but it wasn't sustainable. And so in July of 2017, we found Legends, Ryan's group with Danny. And that really got us started on what our replenishable product and what can we do to build some stability in our business. So in August of that year, just a month after Legends, we actually grew to $14,190. Essentially, though, that started with 0 replens in our arsenal. And so I kind of attribute the start of our business, our current business model, as starting in July of that year when we decided to focus. And then in October of 2017, we did $25,000, mainly replens at that point. And then we kind of stagnated from there. I mean, Q4 was great. I don't really count those numbers. But after that, in March of 2018, we were at $19,000. We didn't grow. We were trying to grow, but we just didn't. And I actually quit my job in February of 2018 so that we could pursue this more and more, this opportunity. But the problem was, and you'll later find this out, and we'll talk more in detail about it. The problem for us was that we couldn't outsource it, or we didn't outsource anything. We were doing it all ourselves. And so we'd buy all these replens and we'd bring them home and we'd get stuck not wanting to ship them. And so a piece of this course is going to be talking about that and how to outsource these things, so that you don't have to deal with, the soul-sucking job of prepping and shipping, or, things that you just don't enjoy doing. In May of 2018, we were at 21,743. So that was 3 months after I quit my job. And that's a scary feeling, right? You quit your job expecting to double or triple numbers, and then things stay the same. So we decided very quickly that we needed to outsource this business and start to scale it so that we could get away from it, because we were in our own way. And so in July of that year, we decided to hire a couple employees and get a warehouse space, which not everybody needs to do. You don't have to get a warehouse or anything like that unless you want to. But we decided to start to outsource this process. And in that very month that we started doing that, we went to 39,124. And then in the next month, in August, we hit $73,000. And so I like to point that out, because this can scale extremely quickly once you kind of have your base of replens for how does this work. So you'll see as we go through the course that the very beginning of your replen journey might be slower, but once you outsource things, it can scale extremely quickly for you. And then I skipped Q4 because I don't necessarily count those numbers. We broke $100,000 a month twice in those, in November and December. But, those are obviously inflated for the season. So in March of 2019, we hit $92,000. We had hired 2 part-time shoppers and an assistant to help us with a bunch of stuff that we had going on. And then in April of 2019, we hit $103,700. So it took us essentially 1.5 years to go from $8,000 to $100,000. And to me, it's more like going from 0 to 100,000, because we didn't have any replens whenever we started looking for them. So there's actually a screenshot of the sales for you to see. And since then, we've stayed pretty stable, and we fluctuate up and down for the last couple months, but we're staying right around that $100,000 mark, and continuing to try to grow. And that's really our next step, is to try to outsource even more and grow more.